Hi, Miss H.
Hi, how are you
I'm
doing?
doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, thank you for coming in today.
Good. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to see you.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about just how you're doing overall.
Well, I'm not really doing all that well.
Hmm.
The doctor just keeps telling me that I have a whole bunch of stuff going on, and you know, I don't really have many people. It's just kind of me, and I'm just torn with the fact of, I'm just kind of, I'm getting old, and there's a lot of things going on that I just can't really tend to anymore. But I don't have nobody to do it for me, and my home is all I've known. I just really don't want to give that up.
Hmm. Well, I know it must be hard, to be aging and to lose that independence of what you're able to do. So that's a lot to go through and to be experiencing emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, have, you know, when you're kind of going through these feelings, do you ever have thoughts of hurting yourself or killing yourself?
Um, I'm not gonna say that I don't ever think about just wanting to be done with everything.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say that at all because sometimes it does cross my mind. Sometimes I just lay there or I'm sitting there and just thinking about things that I miss and I wish I could do again. And sometimes I do just kind of want to end it all. I
Hmm.
do.
I think it's reasonable, to have those thoughts when you're going through so many transitions and not being able to do those things for yourself. And one thing that I can help work with you on is about helping to kind of plan. I don't know if like, what are some of the kinds of things you haven't been able to do on your own.
Well, I really love to cook. I love to cook for people, and I like that. Used to like to have people over, and I would feed
Hmm.
them. But now I really don't have anybody to feed, or I really can't even do much cooking to feed myself.
Hmm.
That's something that I really miss. I used to like to go out and support things that was going on in the community, and I really can't get out and about anymore. So there are a lot of things that I really truly do miss.
Hmm. Have Are there any ways that you feel like you you are able to find kind of meaning in your life as it is now, even
Mm-hmm.
though there are some of those things that you used to do that you're not able to do now?
Yeah, well, every once in a while, like some of the people that used to come over regularly, they'll drop back in town and they'll come by and see me, and that really brightens my day. But it doesn't happen as often as it used to.
Hmm.
But I kind of just sit around and wait for those visits now. I don't have regular visits anymore, and like I said, I've never had any children and not married or anything, so it's just me. All my siblings are gone. My parents have been gone. Aunts and uncles, they never did have much to do with me before, so they really don't have anything to do with me now, and that is the ones that are still alive. So, I mean, it's just those visits that I really look forward to.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like it. In your situation, I could see it being pretty lonely. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
it's real lonely.
Do you ever have trouble with worrying and anxiety? Trouble like concentrating or sleeping?
Yeah, well, the doctors told me that I keep having, like, I have these days, well, at least I think it's days, it could be weeks, where I just kind of have no recognition of nothing that's happened. I can't really tell you how many times I've bathed that week or anything, but the doctor says I'm having what they call like little TIAs, which are kind of
Hmm.
like little mini strokes, and they're happening more frequently. And so sometimes I get really upset and angry because that happens, and I can't remember if anything that was important supposed to happen did or anything. But so I get nervous about when the next one of those is going to happen. It's really
Hmm.
scary to kind of go a couple days and not remember them.
Hmm. I can see that would definitely be
Yeah.
scary. Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you know when you're at home, do you drive anymore?
Well, see, I'm not supposed to,
Hmm.
but every once in a while, I manage to get out of the house, and I do still have my license, and I do still have a car. So,
Hmm.
yeah, sometimes I do just
Okay.
wander off.
Do you feel like in any way with kind of being more limited in what you're able to do and not being able to get out as much or see people, do you feel trapped at all?
Yeah, I do. Like today, since I knew I was coming to see you, I behaved and I actually set up for transportation to come and pick me up. But, like when I need to go to the grocery store or something, if I'm having a good day, I just kind of, take a chance and just kind of do what I need to do. But yeah, it's really hard to kind of feel like, the only thing that you can do by yourself is just sit in your rocker and, look at your pictures. So yeah, sometimes I do feel like I'm trapped, just trapped all by myself.
Do you feel like you see any way out as far as?
Well, people keep suggesting that, I go and live at a nursing home or something like that. But see, another thing about me, like I embrace the visitors, because I was proud of my cooking. I was proud of my home, but I really don't like people. So the thought of me having to live in a nursing home, it really scares me. It really does.
Well, with the nursing home, there's different options as far as the types of, rooms and spaces that you can live in. Have you ever thought about like an assisted living facility where you could kind of have your own apartment, but near where you could go to a cafeteria at the facility, so they would cook for you and check on you, but you wouldn't have to necessarily be with other people?
Yeah, I think that's what they kind of want me to do, but I just don't know. It just terrifies me. And the more I think about it, the more I just think of ways to get out of it all.
What do you mean by that when you say ways to get out of it all?
Normally, when I think about having to leave my house and give up all of my stuff and move into a place like that, that's normally when I just sit around and think of ways that I could just, escape it. Like, maybe if I actually took, a lot of the pills that I normally don't always take, or, just sat and wasted away. That's normally when I think of things like that.
So it sounds like you're feeling a lot of hopefulness. I mean, hopelessness. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, when you're thinking about the possibility of a retirement home or assisted living, that you feel like your current situation could be changed at all? If you had support in doing some of the things that you can't do for yourself anymore?
Yeah, it probably would. It probably would help a lot. I might even actually be a little healthier because, instead of me just taking the medicines when I wanted to take a lot of them to get out of things, I might actually take them on time and take only one a day. And, so there are some positives to it, I guess, but it just really scares me. I've been so independent for so long.
Well, right, and you've been in your home. I mean, it's understandable with considering a big change like that it would be really scary, and that's completely normal. But I think that you made a good point about it being more healthy, to possibly be there with your health concerns you mentioned. I think a good diet and exercise would be good, and those are things that even if you don't like people that much, they might have options for kind of recreational activities that you could do there, that you might not have to interact with other people. But I know you also talked about, missing those visits that you used to have. So, you might even meet a friend.
I might. Well, do you know of any places that, kind of like what you're talking about, where I wouldn't have to share a room with somebody I don't know, or I could, kind of still have my independence?
Right. I could definitely help you find. I've got, different facilities that I can talk with you about, give you that information. So we can go through and see if there's an option, even just to go visit and check it out to see if you think it might be, something you're interested in. And I know that, at this point you kind of talked about being a little bit withdrawn with, not having as many people around. And so I think that might, be something to consider. What about anger? I know we haven't really touched on that, I don't think. Are you feeling any anger or rage about, these changes going on in your life?
Yeah, I think I am angry in a sense. I'm almost angry at the world. I'm angry at myself because I never married and never had any children, and I'm angry at my doctor because he keeps suggesting that, I need care, and I'm angry at all those people that I used to help and that used to come by and that stopped. So yeah, I am angry. Yeah.
Do you feel like that daily, or is that?
Well, Yeah, I think it would be daily. I didn't really have any of those feelings today though because I knew I was, going to get out of the house and I was going to come see you, and
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't have any today. But I think maybe the day before yesterday, probably I had
Mm-hmm.
an angry feeling, and it was more or less at myself. And
Mm-hmm.
that was one of those days where I just kind of wanted to just sit in my rocker and rock right away.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that it must be difficult to be going through these changes and to not be able to feel in control of the situation and with people suggesting to you about what you should do, having an opinion of their own. I know
Yeah.
that's probably frustrating as well.
Mhm.
But maybe with you if you can kind of start to consider your own options, because it sounds like you've recognized that there might be some things that, you do need help with, or that you might be healthier, with some additional support. So maybe you can take control of that, by looking into those options on your own.
Yeah. But the only thing about going to one of these places, if I did just kind of want to, get away from everything or give up, I wouldn't really have access to do it. So that's kind of scary to me too, because if I go through with it, then there's no getting out. And
If you go and moving into a facility,
yeah,
well, you're the one in charge, So I know that
mm-hmm.
I don't know what your situation is with your house, but
Mm-hmm.
even if you were there and you didn't like it, you would always have the choice to, make a change. Still, it's not like that would have to be the the final place if it wasn't a fit. So that's something to keep in mind. Um, I know we talked a little bit about, you mentioned something about, possibly taking pills. Are you
Mm-hmm.
currently using any, alcohol, drugs, taking more of your pills than you're prescribed?
Well, every once in a while, like I said, I remember that I forgot taking them a couple days, so I
Mm-hmm.
might double up. And well, every once in a while, I do believe in having a toddy, to help me sleep at night. But other than that, nothing serious.
Okay. Have you been engaging in any other kind of activities where you feel like you're putting yourself in harm right now?
No, not really harm. But that's the days that I know where everything's going on. Now,
Mm-hmm.
like I told you, I have those what the doctor called TIAs, and you know, there's some days that I really don't remember. So those days I
Mm-hmm.
really can't tell you that I'm not doing anything
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not supposed to be. And like I said, they don't want me to drive, but every once in a while I do get in the car and go for a little stroll. So I mean, to me, everything I do is harmless, but I don't really know.
Do you think that when you're driving, when you're, when you maybe shouldn't be, do you ever think about if you could harm yourself or end up hurting somebody else while you're on the road?
Yeah, I guess that's always a possibility. Yeah.
So that's something to think about just for your safety.
And actually, the reason why they don't want me to drive is because I was leaving to go somewhere. Well, I really don't remember where I was going, but I went to. I had drove my car in the driveway that day instead of backing in like I normally do when I sneak back home. And I was backing out of my driveway, and I backed clear across the road and into some trees.
Oh no.
Yeah, I tore my car up pretty bad, but the neighbors, they came out and checked on me, and I guess I was okay. They made me go to the hospital, and they came and picked me up. But that's the reason why the doctor don't want me to drive no more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that seems understandable. And I know that losing that control of being able to drive is probably really frustrating. But your safety is important. Is
Mm-hmm.
um, do you feel like you've experienced any changes with your mood? Like I know you talked about
Mm-hmm.
anger and you talked about kind of feeling withdrawn.
Um, not a whole lot. I've always kind of kept to myself, and I just mentioned my neighbors. I had forgot about them, but they come by and check on me and make sure I'm okay every once in a while. And sometimes I'll hear them knocking, but I just sit in the house and just pretend like I don't hear them. But I've always been like a homebody into myself, and other than those visits that I used to like, and but other than that, I really can't. I mean, I'm sad more than I used to be just because of everything that I see is just kind of dwindling away from me. But that's about it, probably.
Well, it sounds like you're having a hard time, and I wanted to ask you. You mentioned about the pills again. Going back to that, have you thought about doing that? 20, 30 times in the last week?
No, not that many.
Okay.
And actually, I've had a couple kind of rough days, but this week I haven't really thought about doing anything like that. It normally strikes me probably once or twice a month, maybe. So it's not like I don't think it's a real prominent issue. But every once in a while it strikes me.
Okay. So as of today, are you thinking about doing anything to hurt yourself today?
Not today.
Okay.
Because like I said, I enjoyed coming to see you today.
Well, I'm so glad that you came to see me, and I'm excited for you about the possibilities of your different options and looking into what's out there to possibly improve, your quality of life right now. And I know that there's a lot of changes and a lot of things that are out of your control, but I think that there's some things that are in your control that you might be able to improve, your health and just your general happiness. So can you, I guess we can look forward to looking into those options together and you coming in next time. And do you have anything else that you wanted to share?
I don't think so. And you said that, we'll kind of go over those options together. So I think that's really all I need is just somebody to kind of help me look at those things and see what would be best for me. I think that would help me.
Well, I'm more than happy to do that, and I'm excited for you about the possibilities.
Okay.
So, well, thank you so much for coming in, Miss H, and I'll see you next time.
All right.
Sorry.
You're good.